All right, we are live, day 158. Saw a sub two deal, so I figured I just quickly take a look at it. And we always talk about this. We talk about how to quickly rule out deals as soon as you think it's not worth your time, because this is how we avoid burnout. This is how we don't waste time on work that yields us really little results. Okay. So this property is in 1913 Silver Falls Drive, Burleson, Texas, 76028. 4 bed, 3 bath, 3,309 square feet, $33 a month HOA. Total purchase price, including assignments, 581,497. Sub two, the PITI is 2749. And it says the long-term rental rents are 3,500. So if I were trying to rule out a deal really quick, when I see that the long-term rental rent's 3,500 and I compare that to 2,800 PITI, okay, that's like right on the line if I'm able to get the 3,500, because usually I take out about 20 to 25% for maintenance, property management, and vacancy. Okay. So the first thing I would do is I would just go to Redfin, find the county. If you go to county, this is in Johnson County. And then what I did was I looked up the HUD FMR. If you go to HUD FMR, Google the first thing, go to small area FMRs. And what we're looking for here is the rent ceiling. All right. Texas, Johnson County. All right. 7 6 is that right? 7 Johnson County 76028. It says the rent here, the rent ceiling is 2680. All right, that's well below what we're seeing here for 3,500. Well, let's try looking at the market rent. So when you go to affordablehousing.com, go to the market rent estimator, plug in the address and plug in bedroom count. This is 2759. So I'm not seeing the 3,500 here. So the next thing I would do is I go to Zillow. And when I go to Zillow, I'm gonna plug in the zip code, plug in for rent. I'm at 4 bedroom for the filters. And then I'm looking for rents that are in the 3,500. Most of these numbers you see right here, 2,500. Let's see. 2,500. Oh, here's a 4,200. This is realistic. 4,700 square feet, 5 bed, 4.5 bath. That's way bigger than our house. 14 days listed, 8 contacts. So it's not a very significant demand. Usually I look for at least a 1-to-1 ratio. So this might even be overpriced. But at the end of the day, my takeaway here is that the average I saw on affordablehousing.com seems to match what I quickly saw with my own eyes on Zillow, because most of these numbers are 2,000 to 2,500. So I'm not going to be able to cash flow on this deal because my PITI is 2749.8. And just to walk it out, right? Like normally I would stop my analysis right here. So far, what I've already spent about 3 to 5 minutes on this property, and I know that's not a deal. For me personally, assuming this is my exit strategy, if you use like midterm rentals, etc., then maybe it's going to be a little bit different based on how you estimate your assumptions. But for me, let's walk it out, right? I want to prove it out to you why this is not a deal and why I ruled it out quickly. And that just comes from repetition, right? Just over time, I do enough of these that I quickly realize, like, okay, that's not going to be a deal. 497 for the asking price. I'm not even going to touch the renovation because you're going to, because that only affects the cash and cash return. And cash return only means anything to me if I'm positive cash flow, right? If my average rent is going to be 2759 compared to 2680, I'm going to use the rent ceiling of 2680 because that's the lower of the two numbers between the market rent and the rent ceiling that's determined by HUD. And this is assuming for Section 8 purposes only. All right. The PITI for the sub 2 loan, 478,626. Let me show this. 478 626.06. Interest rate is 3.99. Maturity date at 12/1/51. So I'm going to do 12/1/21 as a start date, assuming it's 30 years amortization. PITI is 2749. So I'm going to go to property taxes equals 2749.8 less or subtract the principal, subtract the interest, and that's going to be my resulting number. 2749.8 minus the principal minus interest. This number on taxes actually seems pretty low. That seems really low compared to what I've seen in the past. All right, I got 10% for maintenance, 8% for property management, and I'm going to put 3% for vacancy just to kind of lower it a little bit because it seems like a really nice, really nice house. Okay. Assuming this is your current positioning, and don't worry, there's an HOA for $33 a month. We have $59,000 for the entry fee. That includes 8,483 of arrears. So I'm going to do equals 59,000 minus 8,483. And then it's a secondary loan for 43,871. 3% interest rate. Balloon at 10 years. And that needs to equal to 184.6. So I want this to be equals 184.6. That's roughly around there. So this property will lose you, assuming you go for long-term rentals, you will lose $931 a month. So that's how I quickly ruled out a deal, right? We just walked through all these numbers. We didn't even estimate the rehab, but I want to back it up a little bit. We saw the PITI. We saw that this person or this wholesaler said the long-term rental rates were $3,500. So what I quickly did was look at the county on Redfin, right? After I got Redfin and I saw the county, I didn't even look at a crime score, didn't even look at the property condition yet. I just simply figured out, hey, if it doesn't cash flow, I'm not going to do anything with it. That's assuming that's my exit strategy. If you want to buy this property and wrap it, if you want to buy this property to live in it, completely different level of circumstances, I'm showing you if you've picked an exit strategy that you are passionate about, which I'm passionate about affordable housing. So that's why I only underwrite deals using affordable housing. Then that's how I'm underwriting my deals. So I don't spend my time with the shiny object syndrome looking at deals that I know won't work or spending time or wasting time at deals that don't work. So I got the HUD FMR, I got the rent ceiling, and then I compared the 2680 to what I saw on market rents on the market rent estimator in affordablehousing.com by plugging the address, the bedroom count, and then I looked at how many units are within a certain mile radius that gives me the average rent. This is how I know this is not a deal. And that's why I am walking away from this deal specifically. It just doesn't make any sense. I would have stopped there. But to walk it out for all of you today, this is why I went through all of the numbers, the asking price, the rents, plug in the PITI for the sub 2 part, plug in the PITI for the seller finance piece. We plugged in insurance. Even lower that if you really want to, but that's not going to make a difference. You were negative $800. So I don't even need to do what I typically do, which is plug in the FMRs by bedroom count, plug in all of the ones because I know this is not a deal. This is why I'm walking away from it, right? Obviously, this is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments on this call. I'm simply doing the work every single day to show you all what consistency looks like and how it compounds over time so that you quickly figure out that something is not a deal. And when something is not a deal, you don't waste time with it. So when this is negative $890 cash flow a month, are you really going to reach into your pocket for negative $890 cash flow a month? Cool. Other people have different exit strategies where they say, hey, what is the midterm rents for this property? If you say, okay, well, I can get $5,000 in midterm rental on this property to like a traveling nurse or some kind of furnished finder family, something like that. Well, what if you don't get it? What is your backup strategy? Well, at least this becomes your backup strategy, right? If you say, hey, I'm going to do a furnished finder, but worst case scenario, I can rent out Section 8 and I'll lose $900 a month. Might that give you more confidence in in your thought process of whether or not you want to buy this as a midterm rental. Hey, worst case scenario, what if no one ever travels for midterm rentals again? What can you do? Can you rent a Section 8? Okay, if you do that, how much money would you lose? What if you lost $900 a month? Is that a risk that you are willing to take on? And that allows you to understand that, hey, your full risk is not that negative 2,700, which is the mortgage, right? Your full risk in reality should be you can rent a Section 8. So you would not be losing 2,750 a month, which is the PITI. You would be losing roughly around 800, $900 a month. And that might give you enough confidence to take a chance on that investment as an MTR or midterm rental. Completely up to you, right? I'm just thinking out loud and showing you how you can look at a deal in multiple different ways and see whether or not it's right for your own risk appetite. All right. So thank you everybody for tuning in to the live today. Hope you all spent some quality time with your family and friends today. Yesterday, my parents came and my daughter was so happy to see them. She was jumping up and down, and it really reminded me that that's what life is about. Those wholesome moments, the time that you get to spend with your family. That's what life is all about. So, hey, have an amazing day. Thank you so much for caring about affordable housing. Thank you so much for being part of this community. If it wasn't for all of you, I would have never had the home I grew up in. So thank you so much. Have an amazing